Oh, well, we said we were going to go see the fifth wave, but that's next week. We actually got asked to go see something else, Leonardo DiCaprio's new movie, The Revenant. For those of you who remember the movie Simone, where at the end of the movie, Al Pacino was trying to get basically destroy the reputation of the actress AI that he'd created, and just humiliated her throughout the entire movie. Yeah, that's about what this movie is. It's 2.5 hours of Leo DiCaprio proving how tough he is by surviving the tundra.
And the elements and everyone else dying around him.
Hit us up. What's the plot?
Alright, so from what you guys know from
The trailer?
the trailers and previews and stuff that you've probably seen, someone, not going to tell you who, kills poor Leo's son, who is apparently half Native American Pawnee, correct?
Yes.
And they leave Leo for dead, buried alive. Sort of. They didn't really bury him very well.
They tried.
They threw some dirt on him and said, "This is a proper burial," and walked away. And he comes back and travels for miles, what had to be over a period of, I would guess, a couple of months. I don't know.
It really didn't tell us.
I don't know. It's at least a couple of weeks. But he's traveling, hunting down the person who killed his boy. What did he say in the trailer? "Shouldn't have killed my boy. It's all that I had left." So, that is a main story. There's actually a little bit of sub-stories going on. There is a group of Native Americans who are looking for a lost Indian woman. That plays a small part in the story, but
kind of like a MacGuffin in a way. They're just kind of like pushing things along.
Yeah, it's kind of a subplot, and that's really it. It's the entire thing is what Leo trying to survive the elements, looking for the man who killed his boy.
Castaway. Castaway is the reason for this movie. I blame you, Castaway. Damn it, Tom Hanks. Okay. Our main characters is obviously Leonardo. What was his character's name again?
Mr. Glass?
Glass, something like that. There's very little dialogue in this movie, so it's kind of hard to keep track of who's who. Out of the main characters, there's obviously Leonardo and this other guy, Fitzgerald, who's the main bad guy, I guess you could say. But he's a believable bad guy. Out of everything in this movie, he's the most believable character in it. Because he just wants to survive. And he's got a somewhat hatred for Indians because he's been half scalped over part of his face and just left for dead. So he had no love for Leo and his half-breed son, or for the Indians.
Sioux. Yeah, I think the Sioux were the ones that were following them.
No, the Ree were the ones that
were
chasing
Ree.
them.
Forgive me. Sorry.
The Sioux were mentioned, but they weren't actually in the movie. But it's mostly a battle between them two. And then, I guess you could consider the father of the Indian woman that's been missing. He's the one commanding the Ree and chasing down anybody who they find. They just kill him because they're looking for his daughter. That's about it. I mean, he really doesn't have a lot of talking, and he's kind of just like the infinite march of death. He's like, "I'm going to find my daughter. I'm going to find my daughter. Oh, look, more white men. Kill them." I don't have much to say about Leo because, like I said, this movie is about him surviving the wilderness. And the suspension of disbelief is gone. Just gone.
You can't believe that.
In the trailer, you see that he's attacked by a bear. The fight actually lasts for about 5 minutes. And there's no way he could have survived that. I'm sorry. Just great CGI. But there's no... From the wounds that he sustains, there's no way he could have survived that. And then there's several other scenes that he could not have survived. I'm sorry.
Anyways, beyond that rant, let's look a bit at our sub-characters. Leo's son only plays a role as the reason as to why he continues forward. He has very few lines. He's not very important, and he doesn't get enough screen time to really be fleshed out. And
you're kind of half waiting for him to die because you know he's going to die from the trailer.
From the trailer, my son. Yeah, so he's just look at me. I'm a traditional Native American boy with the white men. Oh no, I died. What else we got? There is a couple of trappers with Fitzgerald, and the captain.
Yeah, I think the captain's the only one that can really be said as to be an individual character.
Yeah, it's important. Well, there was a trapper that gets left behind with Fitzgerald. He's not really important, but Fitzgerald kind of forces him into the role to be his accomplice.
He brings up a lot of moral ambiguity.
He feels bad for what he's done. He kind of is fleshed out as a character, but he doesn't play an important part in the movie. He feels bad for leaving Glass behind, Leo's character, and he doesn't know anything about Leo's son dying, just that he's not there anymore. So Fitzgerald convinces him along and kind of forces him to be an unwitting accomplice, convincing him that his life is at stake as well. The captain of this fur trapping mission, I guess, I don't even remember the captain's name. It was only mentioned a few times. Just, hey, Captain.
Yeah, something like that.
It's kind of the same way. He wants to try and save all his men, including Glass. But at one point, after the bear attack, he realizes that everyone can't make it back with Glass. And that's kind of a driving force as well. He
wants Glass to survive. He apparently has some respect for him because he's their main guide and he's kept them alive for all these adventures. But he understands that there's nothing we can do for you. But he doesn't have the balls to actually kill him either.
Yeah. So, and later when he finds out that Glass is still alive and makes it, he plays another sort of important role and tries to help Glass out in finding Fitzgerald. But that's about it for a subcast of people and supporting actors. The rest of them are, generic trappers or generic Indians who are part of the tribe chasing them. And like he said, the Indians, although they don't do much, they're essentially supposed to be symbolic of encroaching death. They're following Leo wherever he goes, and slowly catching up to him. Eventually they're going to catch him and kill him if he doesn't get to Fitzgerald first.
This movie is, 2.5 hours? Something like that? Out of it, 30 minutes is probably the main storyline. The other 2 hours is just pandering. Oh my God, how many times I just wanted to get up and leave in the middle of this movie. And the only reason I didn't was because we were trying to do this for you guys, and we had people with us that, if they weren't going to leave, I wasn't going to leave, even though I was bored out of my mind. There is a lot of scenes in it. It's like, oh, well, look at these wonderful caribou or these buffalo. The ants! The ants that are kind of mashed up in like a tumbleweed. It's only there for like 10 seconds, but it's got nothing to do with anything else. Just look at these ants!
Okay. Rant over. I think what he's trying to say is there were some good shots in the movie. We'll give it that. There was some great scenery, but for the most part, not only was it plenty of bland, dead winter forest, we get it, it's the winter tundra, you still could have done more for that. There were a lot of pointless shots and flashbacks and stuff like that.
And visions, and after the bear attack, he crawls for half the movie and grunts and can't talk. So slow.
Yeah, that's all. Even the music was not inspiring. Like it didn't feel like it was there. It was like, well, we've got some ambience music, but it's kind of just there.
What was it I said earlier? It takes longer for this movie to get anywhere than The Lord of the Rings. But, I mean, to stop harping on the same thing, I understand that they're trying to be artsy, and I think I've said it as soon as I saw the trailer for this movie. It feels like Leonardo's just trying to push for that Oscar. Well, I don't think you should get one for this. He's done a lot of great movies lately. Inception, what was it, The Wolf of Wall Street or something like that. He's done a lot of good things lately. This is not one of them. I cannot recommend this movie. I think you were a little bit better off than I was.
Well, yes and no. We can all see that he doesn't like it, obviously. I don't completely agree with him. I'll state personally, this was not my kind of movie. I did not enjoy it that much, and yes, I did find it boring. But I can see from a certain standpoint how it could be at least a decent movie. I wouldn't call it a great movie. Maybe a good movie. For those that really like this.
For artsy films.
For an artistic look, yeah, like he was saying.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad film. It's just, for me, I cannot recommend it. It's too boring for me.
I would have to say, I wouldn't recommend to go hit it in theaters, but maybe one night sit down, rent it, check it out for yourself, and maybe get a pillow and blanket in case you fall asleep.
I wish.
But that's really it. It was not worth it in theaters. Wait for it to hit DVD and rent it or something. And that's probably the better way to view it, in my opinion. You might not get to see huge, big screen, but
I don't think
there were plenty. Yeah, it wasn't. There were plenty of shots that weren't worth it for that big screen.
I mean, for what they do of the characters, there's a lot of just really close-up shots. I mean, maybe for like the really big open tundra scenes, but there's too much of that to really matter.
Yeah. So that's what we have to say on the matter. And of course, like we said, we're trying to hit up fifth wave on the next week. 15th, right? Yeah. So we hope to see more then. If you want to hear more rants, of course, and you like what you see, click the like below. And follow us if you feel like it. Click on the subscribe. We'd love to, hear more from you as well. So we'll see you later.
Bye.